Now, for merging and appending queries, let me proceed from where we stop. Apologies, I just lost my internet connection, but now I'm able to sort that out. Okay. For appending queries itself, for appending queries, we do what's called a vertical, vertical combination. That is, let me just use a very simple example. If in the first place I had 10 records, but a new record has been generated or or has been again. So I'm going to combine the original records with the new records. For example, I have 10 new, maybe in my initial sheet I had 10 students. Then all of a sudden I have 8 more students. So that means I'm going to have a total of 18 students. So basically, in appending queries or vertical combination, that's where I'm going to increase the number of rows or records in my data. While in merging, what I'm going to increase just the number of columns. Okay, the number of columns that I have in my data sets. So think of appending queries to union in SQL. Don't worry about SQL if you haven't done that, but just a union, a combination to increase the number of records. And merging queries, think of it at what we looked in during VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP, where you are able to come up with a new column even out of calculation. Okay, that's where you do what's called uh, horizontal combination. That's merging queries. We're going to see that by example. We're going to see that by example. So imagine that you have an initial table of 1,000 records. Okay, you can name that student batch one. Then the school administration sends you a second file with maybe 500 new students. That one you can name it students batch two. So these students batch two feature some of the same columns. Okay, they have same columns. Maybe you are talking about the gender of the students, the race of the students, the math score, reading score, etc. So you need to stack them, okay? You need to combine them or stack them into one single comprehensive master list. You name it a master list, one full comprehensive master list. So that's where you're going to have one long list combining the first batch of the students to get the second batch of the students. That's batch one and batch two. Okay. What about in merging? The only thing that you must consider in merging, there must be a one unique identifier. For example, if you are using student registration number, very unique. Every student has a very unique registration number. For you have to check the original data where you want to add your new data. If both of them have one matching unique records. So, for example, you have your 1,000 cleaned data records of students' performance. Now, to run an equity analysis, for example, assume that you receive a separate table that's called demographic details. So the first one add the students record, the class details, then all of a sudden you have students demographic uh, details, which can translate to something like the race, maybe the country. Okay, so in the initial data, you only had maybe the name, the age, and the scores. But all of a sudden, you have a new sheet containing the countries, or I'm a county where the students are coming from. So for you to add that new column, it means the new sheet that you are having must have a unique identifier similar to that one of the the original one that you want to add on. So you have to select the matching columns. They must have some matching columns. In most cases, it's a ID, student ID or registration number. Let me share with you what I have here so that you can move in a procedural approach. Now, let me take you to a real world example. Okay, let me example. Now, let me have two data sets right over here that I want to append and merge. So let me start with the appending. Okay, let me use this. Same. Now, I have a data set here. Original data set had this particular number of columns or the number of entries. So I have a student data set with 395 observation. Let me say, think of it like I have a class of 395 students, but these students have been divided into two streams. Okay, or these particular students have their data has been divided into two particular categories. That's the demographics, and the other one is something the academic habits. So let me take you through what's over here. Travel time. Yeah, travel time. So I have my original data containing 395 students. My original data has 395 students. Then my data has been split into two. Okay, these are the columns of my data: school, sex, age, address, family size, P status, medical, I mean, MEDU, FEDU, M job, F job. Okay, a number of records up to the internet. So this particular data, you can divide this, the first columns to be demographics information about the student. Okay, and all of them are here. The data dictionary is provided right over here. Like school, what it means, the school, the sex of that student, family size, that student's family size, P status. That one means student's parents, the status of the student's parent. Okay, then MEDU, that's the mother's highest level of education. Then the second one is the father's highest level of education. So we have a lot of columns that we had in our original data. Then we have splitted we have split our data. Assume our data has arrived in two batches. The first table contains it's called students data one, which contains the students demographics. That is, uh-huh, all the demographic details of the students from school up to the guardian. Then the second batch, okay, the second batch contains students' academic habit. That is from travel time up to internet, whereby internet here is whether the student has internet or not. Okay, whether the student have reliable internet access or not. So we have other columns here. I'm not going to read all this right now, but we assume you have all the particular column that have been divided into two. The first batch, okay, contains the students' demographic details up to guardian, right over here, up to here. Then the second one we call is student academic habit, like the travel time, how frequent does that student travel on the weekly or daily basis? Study time, how much time does the student take in studying? Failures, school what? Like paid fees, a lot of things, a lot of them. Nursery, higher, internet activities, which shows the students' extracurricular curriculum activities. So we have all that in our original data right over here. Okay. Now I want to do. Let me check for. Okay, this didn't match. And let me do something. I want to divide this into two. So this one is up to start from travel time. Then you have it here. Now let me take this. Okay, let me do this. It will be very easy. Let me delete this particular records. Let me delete all this. Okay, are you able to see this particular two sheets, Madam Marion? If you can hear me. Hello, Madam Marion, can you hear me? Right. Let me show you this particular Excel sheet that I have. So in the first sheet here, I'm having student demographic details that I've explained earlier on, from all the school to the guardian. The guardian is the whether it's being serving a mother, a father, other maybe auntie or something else. Okay. Then you have other options. Other options here like family size, the address, the age of the student, sex, school, mother's level of education, father's level of education, plus other columns. So this my students' demographic information. Then my second sheet here, I'm going to have my student study habits. What determines how he or she performs? Maybe internet activities she performs, nursery, whether she went on nursery or not, paid fees or not, school failures, study time, all those particular information. Now, I have one task. Okay, I have two tasks. The first task for me, I want to combine this particular record together with this into one sheet. That is, I'm going to have all this particular column from travel time to internet. Okay, we want to have all that record over here in that particular order, and we want to have all the details down here without doing copy pasting, just via Excel. So how am I going to do that? That's what's called merging or horizontal combination. So let me take you back through the document right over here. So we want to merge this particular query. So let me just take you to Excel. Then I'm going to just show you because we have student data one and student data two. So let me just take you through what's over here uh, in a few minutes. Let me show you that. Now I have a blank sheet. I have a blank sheet. So in my sheet, I want to upload just via my Power Query. I want to upload the two data. Then I'm going to do what's called uh, merging. That's the horizontal combination. The first thing that you have to do, okay, the first thing that you have to do, you move to Power Query. Then I'm going to import the two particular data source. Let me import all of them. File from CSV. Let me just take you through how to merge the data sources uh, in one is. Okay, I think they're in my data sets. Yeah. So these are my original data, students data 1 and student data 2. Student data 1 contains my students' demographic information, the 2 contains my students' study habit. So let me upload them into my Power Query. You have to upload all of them. The first thing is to load all the two data sources into your Power Query, two of them. And that's what I'm doing. Okay, let me access from Power Query editor. Okay. Now, under queries here is where you'll see your particular data sources. So let me upload the new one. So I have my student data here. Okay, the first one, student data 1. Let me now upload the student data 2, the second one. Initially, we have been working with only one sheet in our Power Query. What if you want to work with two or three or more number of sheets? What are you going to do? So this how you will upload your new particular CSV file or in data source to your Power Query. You navigate directly just on the home tab. On the furthest right, we have what's called new source. Are you able to see that, Madam Maria? New source. By just you can just unmute because I'm not able to see your reaction. Are you able to see this? Okay. So I want to upload my second data so that I'm able to merge them. So here's where you're going to just via the Power Query editor, you'll be able to access your new data. So I'm going to click on that file because I want to work with text file or CSV. I'm going to select this one here. Again, new source from file, then text file. So let me check, let me take my second data, the student data 2. Can you see my student data 2 here, Madam Marion? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me, Madam Marion? Hello, am I audible? Okay. Now you can hear me. Okay, let me navigate back here. So I want to load my second data that is on student data 2. So I move here on new source. Already have that new source, then I move over to text. Okay, says then this particular window will pop up. So let me select my data, student data 2. Let me import it. Then I'm going to load it to my particular Power Query editor. So on my furthest right, on my furthest left, on my left side, I'm going to see student data 1 containing a student's demographic information. Can you see that, Madam Maria? Up to guardian. From school up to guardian. Hope you're able to see that. Then, thanks so much. Then on student data 2, I'm going to have my particular student study habit. That's from traveling time, study time, failures, okay, school, school soup, farm soup, paid activities, nursery, higher internet, all that. So I want to merge this particular records or tables into one sheet. That's what I'm interested with. So that all my analysis I'm going to carry out will be just from one sheet. So just let me take you through on how to do that. For me to successfully match my data source, because here I have 395 records as well, and the other one also have 395 records. Let me show you. So my second student data has 395 records here. The students that I want also have 395 records. So for me to match the two, I have to look for one unique or uh, one common column which is similar to both sides. So for me, I'm not having any similar column. I'm not having any similar column. So matching this particular data is the way it is can be difficult. So I have to look for one common column that will help me match. Maybe the first student is similar to the first student on the second data. Because I don't have that, I'm going to include a unique ID. I'm going to include a new unique ID. Though this one we did yesterday on adding column. So let me come and create my new column here just from add column. I'm just going to move so quick. On the home tab, we have transform, then add column. Let me add a column here. Then my column will start counting from 1. What does this mean? The first student will be having ID number 1. The second student will be having ID number 2. The third will be having ID number 3. Up to the last one, the 365th student will be having ID number 365. So let me insert that. I'm going to click on from 1. Basically, from 0 starts counting from 0. 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's the only difference. But from 1 starts counting from 1. So I have my index here, right over here, starting from 1. Are you able to see that, Madam Marion? A new column has been created here. Are you able to see that, Madam Marion? So so the same thing I'm going to apply for student ID for student data 2. I'm going to look for a unique record. So I'm going to navigate here, then from 1, a new column. So my two data sets have a common ID, that is the student's index. I can rename it, but I have to make it have a similar name. Maybe I can call it a student ID, but let me just leave it for index because after all, we can even delete this particular record after matching. So all of them have a new particular column named index. Okay, index. So this index will help me match the two data sources. So let me go to the next step. How am I going to merge now? How am I going to merge? That's the question. We want to initiate the merge query. You have to initiate the merge query. So I will move to the home tab. This is where I'm going to find my merge, the home tab. Then to the combine menu here, I'm having merge queries and append queries. Are you able to see this, Madam Marion? The two, just in the my home tab. Okay, I'm having merge queries and appending queries. Can you see this, Madam Marion? Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I want to merge new queries. I'm going to merge these particular queries, and I'm going to call it merge queries as new because this is our first query. I'm going to merge new queries. That's what I'm going to click right over here. Just follow up. I'll share with you the data sets in the WhatsApp, and we shall practice on that together, even with with Madam Cynthia. Just don't worry about that. So you click on merge query as new, then a pop-up window will appear. Uh-huh. Are you able to see this, Madam Mariam? There's a window here. Now I want to select the tables that I want to merge. The first one is data one. The second one is in student data two. By the way, this order matters because if you select here to be the first one, it means the final data will have the first record as travel time. Kumaanisha my data will start with the student study habit, but that's not what I want. I want my data starts with the student demographic information that was found in data set one. So I come and select that. Then, what are we interested in? The second one is student data two. Already I've selected that. Up that point, nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. You have one more thing to do. You have to select the unique identifier. What's common in both of them? Which one is common, Madam Marion, in both of them? Which one is common in both tables? Exactly, the index. Thanks so much. And remember how you generated the index ourselves. Okay. So because you have to get for a matching record, that's index. Assume you had a matching record in your data, you don't have to even create a new column. Assuming you have student registration number in both particular data set. That's the same in both. You don't have to include a new column. Excel just automatically select the same columns. So for us, we never had that, so I have to select them. For me, it's the students index, and here students index. So after that, I am coming to select some particular join kind. What's called the join kind. Should I want to join from the left? Okay, I mean left outer. We have a number of options here. We have a number of options here. Left outer. Manisha, I'm going to take the my first data set, then I'm going to combine with my second data set without just checking only the matching records. Only the matching records. In some cases, imagine you can combine a data set by just taking what's common in both. Maybe for us it's index. So for me, I want to just do what's called a normal merge. Okay, a normal merge. I'm going to use what's called left outer join. That means all from first matching from second. All data. We have a bunch of options here. Tomorrow I'll explain to you that. So after that, you click on OK. You click on OK. Then the magic now happens. Now, on my queries here, there's a new query that has been added here called merge one. Merge one. So merge one here combines the data from student data one and student data two. Yeah, that's what you have. Are you able to see that, Madam Marion? I have my first student data. Okay, this is the demographic information. Second one, then merge. Now this. Okay, thanks so much. So that's where we are. Now, if you expand this particular data, there's an expand icon. If you can able to see my cursor, if you're able to see my cursor, there's an expand icon. When I click on that, I will have this particular window showing. Chenye inamaanisha, I have my original data for student data one, and then the second one has been merged. Though I'm having them uh, combined. So I want to collapse them. I want to extend them so that it be a normal table. So I want to expand the merged column. It's just direct by the don't have to overthink about that. So because I'm not interested with index, I'm going to uncheck index. Okay, I'm going to uncheck the index icon, and then one thing is remaining. One thing is remaining in this particular data. We'll have that the next column after the index, we say that student index dot travel time. Second one will be student data 2 dot study time. Student data 2 dot failures. So I want to remove that aspect of dot. I'm not interested with knowing where this particular data is coming from. That's what ideally is happening. So I also have to do one more thing. I have to uncheck use original column name as prefix. So you have two things to uncheck. Index, because I'm not interested with the index, but if you are interested with the index, just leave it. Okay. I'm only going to select the column that I'm interested with. That's the index. Why? Because index was not there in my original data. So I'm not interested in working with the index. Then I'm also going to uncheck use original column name as prefix for me to avoid that aspect of student data 2 dot travel time, student data 2 dot failures, student data 2 dot uh, all these particular columns. I know that that was from student data 2, but me now I want one sheet that's very smooth without that particular type of identification. So remember the two things: uncheck index and also uncheck use original column as prefix. Now the next thing is just to click on OK. Click on OK. Now are you able to see this, Madam Marion? Now I have one long data set containing all the entries, all the columns from the two sheets. Are you able to see that, Madam Marion? Okay. Now, thus we have successfully merged the two data sets. So because I'm not interested with the one more thing, I'm not interested with the index. You just come and delete it, like clicking on remove. So my data has been merged successfully. All the columns plus all the 65 records. So I can come here and rename. Let me rename this as merged, merged student data. So I have my first student data, second student data, and then I have my merged student data. So combine hizi data sources mbili into one sheet. So I can either come and close and load my data for further analysis. So once you've done close and load and close, you have your new sheet containing all the columns in one data set. Do you have any question up to that point, Madam Marion, on whatever thing that you have done? Okay. Can I ask? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Don't have to create another one. Yeah, you can pick on any because that ensure that they are unique. Like student registration number is unique. They have to be because a name can't be unique. Someone you can share names to the other students. So just ensure that one of them is very unique to the utmost. Yeah. Yeah.